Most people see Georgetown, Texas online and think, that's it. That's where I'm going to retire. But the truth is, for a lot of people, retiring in Georgetown is one of the biggest financial and lifestyle mistakes they could make. Now, before you cross Georgetown off your list or rush out and buy a home here, it's important to understand what's really going on behind those beautiful photos, the glowing online reviews, because depending on your situation, Georgetown might actually be the wrong move for your retirement. We're going to talk about how the reality of our heat, traffic, day-to-day driving can feel very different when you're retired here than it does on a fun weekend visit. I'm Stuart Sutton, a full-time real estate broker specializing in Georgetown, Texas. I've helped so many people here in Georgetown or retire to Georgetown. And I've also helped a few decide that another town or even another part of Texas might be a better fit for the way they actually want to live during their retirement. My goal isn't to sell you on Georgetown, although I'm passionate about Georgetown. It's to help you see the whole picture before you make that big decision. Your first considerations are the heat and allergy seasons, because in Central Texas, those are no joke. The summer heat in Georgetown lasts for several months, and average highs are in the high 80s and 90s, and we do push up into the hundreds. A lot of people underestimate how this affects daily life, especially if they're sensitive to heat or have mobility or health issues. And another kind of little known factor is the winter allergy season. Cedar fever starts in mid-December and goes well into February. It causes itchy eyes, runny noses, congestion, makes outdoor enjoyment just a little bit more challenging. So solutions are to pick a home with great insulation, modern air conditioning, shade landscaping like trees and overhangs. That way you're not fighting high utility bills or discomfort. And consider choosing an area with smaller yards and less outdoor maintenance. That way you're not forced into heavy outdoor chores during the heat of the summer or the allergy season. It's basically about scheduling our outdoor time early in the morning or late in the afternoon to avoid the heat. You can also validate that indoor community amenities are available, and there are lots of them. If you have known allergy sensitivities, budget for year-round allergy care. Check the filtration system. You might even research whether homes are in low allergen landscaping zone. Yes, that's a real thing. Georgetown offers great, beautiful weather much of the year in a great hill country lifestyle. But if you're moving here to retire, you need to plan for the long haul, and that includes the summer heat and the winter pollen. So make sure your dream move doesn't become a burden on your health or your budget by planning ahead. Reason number 2, Georgetown isn't a sleepy little town anymore. Georgetown has been one of the fastest growing cities in the entire U.S., posting multiple years of top-ranked population growth. And with that rapid growth comes heavier traffic, especially along Interstate 35, Williams Drive, University Avenue, and other key commuter corridors. Retirees who imagine a quiet, slow-paced hill country retirement are often surprised by the construction, the new subdivisions, the commercial construction, and the busier roads. And that growth also changes the feel of a once rural area. There are more rooftops, fewer open fields, more noise, and quite sincerely, more day-to-day congestion. So the solutions are prioritize neighborhoods away from those corridors, away from major commercial zones. Sun City, Berry Creek, Texas Tradition, certain west of I-35 pockets have a much calmer pace. Also, tour areas at different times of the day, maybe early morning, midday, evening rush. Get an understanding of what the traffic patterns are doing. If you value quiet living, consider certain areas on the west side toward Lake Georgetown, or lightly developed areas that still preserve kind of a retreat-like feel. Before buying, ask your agent to outline future planned developments. This is important. You don't want to end up next to a surprise commercial project or a major road expansion. And this is what I do on a continuing basis, so I can certainly help you with that. Georgetown still has charm, green space, walking trails, parks, an incredible historic district, but it's no longer the quiet, undiscovered town that a lot of people picture. With smart neighborhood selection, though, you can still enjoy a peaceful lifestyle and avoid the stress that rapid growth can bring. Issue number 3, the real cost of living can catch retirees off guard. You see, even though we've had a correction lately, home prices in Georgetown have risen sharply over the past decade. This has been driven by demand from retirees and the Austin spillover. This often surprises people who expect small town pricing in Georgetown. Now, Texas has no state income tax, but retirees underestimate the impact of high property taxes, especially as home values continue to appreciate. Now, we do have an over 65 exemption which freezes taxes, but costs like insurance, HOAs, utilities, and general maintenance can stretch a fixed retirement budget more than expected. Many retirees move here for affordability compared to California, Washington, the Northeast, but long term, the cost of carrying a home in Georgetown can be higher than they planned for. Solutions: run a full cost of living breakdown before buying. Property taxes, and those can vary wildly, by the way. Utilities, that can vary a lot. Insurance, HOA fees, maintenance, consider all of that. Also, think about efficient floor plans, modern HVAC, lower maintenance yards. Those can all help with monthly costs. If budget flexibility is tight, look at pockets around Georgetown, because there's some great areas in this immediate area around Georgetown that offer similar lifestyles, even at slightly lower expenses. And of course, work with an agent who can compare total monthly ownership costs and understands the cost across neighborhoods, not just the price of the listing. Georgetown offers a fantastic lifestyle, but rising home prices, ongoing costs might strain a fixed retirement income if you don't plan ahead. The key is understanding the true monthly cost of owning a home here so that you understand your retirement and how to stay comfortable instead of stressed. Another reason is HOA rules and 55 plus community restrictions. They're not for everyone. Many retirees love Georgetown because of Sun City and other HOA managed areas, but not everyone thrives in a community with strict rules, architectural controls, and lifestyle expectations. Some common surprises: rules about parking, exterior changes, lawn appearance, fences, visible storage. Some have limitations on guests, including how long your adult kids or your grandkids can stay with you. Required approval for every exterior update, paint, landscaping. That can feel restrictive for people who are used to being independent. HOA fees can also vary widely and may increase over time. That could impact your long-term affordability if you're on a fixed income. So here are some solutions. Before buying, read the full HOA and 55 plus bylaws, not just a summary. You need to know exactly which rules are going to affect your lifestyle. Tour multiple communities and compare the culture of each. Some are highly active and structured, others are quieter and less rule-driven. There are some neighborhoods which are much more flexible on the rules they have in place. If you don't like oversight, you want a little bit more freedom, consider a non-HOA neighborhood or even a small acreage neighborhood where you have control over your property. Ask your agent to break down the total cost of the HOA, plus amenities, plus taxes. You don't want to be blindsided by long-term expenses or rules that you didn't anticipate. You see, HOA and 55 plus communities in Georgetown can offer great amenities, low maintenance living, but the structure, rules, and expectations aren't always right for everyone. Understanding the restrictions up front can help ensure that you land in a neighborhood that truly feels like home, and feels like home for a long time to come. I know that living on an acre or more sounds peaceful and private and serene, but there is maintenance, more than with a typical home. It's a very popular thing for retirees in Georgetown to move to a home on an acre or more. But that's very different in your 50s or 60s than it is in your 70s or 80s. Now, I will admit, I had one client who mowed his 2 acres by hand until he was 95 years old. But let's face it, that's not for everybody. And a large lot like that has to be maintained. Half acre, even an acre, is a little more challenging to take care of than a typical subdivision lot, or one in a 55 plus community, for example. We have septic systems. You might have a well, depending on the situation, depending on how many trees you have to take care of, how much landscape you have to take care of, the fencing. There are a lot of issues that have to be taken into consideration that you don't really have to worry about in a regular subdivision. So what feels great and manageable in your 60s might get a little bit old in your 70s and 80s. As a matter of fact, just last week I had an agent helping a buyer purchase a home on just over an acre. Now, this couple happened to be in their early 70s. They were excited about the privacy, the space, the elbow room, but we had a conversation, my agent and I, about that property and the amount of maintenance it was going to take. And after she had the discussion with them about the different types of care and maintenance that was going to be required for that property, they decided they'd rather not move ahead with that. Now, we weren't trying to cost her a sale or cost them their dream home, but knowing the facts are important. There are some people that absolutely embrace working in the yard and trimming trees and taking care of landscape and doing all the things that are required. But some people just aren't interested in spending their time doing that when they could be doing other things. So if you're thinking about a home on an acre or more, just be sure that you find the right one for you. There are communities that are well manicured, have HOAs, and it's just not really quite the same as living out in the country. But there are communities that have chickens, have animals, have private roads, and there are a lot of issues that you might not have considered. So living on an acre or more might be something that you absolutely dream about and want to embrace and take on in your retirement years, but you need to be very aware of what you're taking on. So assess that unique situation, that neighborhood, and what kind of maintenance and effort it's going to take. Now, if you don't want to do the maintenance yourself, nowadays there are plenty of people who will assist you. But lawn maintenance companies and handymen are just a little more pricey than they used to be, so be sure and take care of that situation with your budget and know that you're going to be investing that money on a continuing basis to take care of your property. So living on an acre or more in Georgetown, Texas can be absolutely rewarding. The privacy is fantastic, the serenity, the buffer, the elbow space, it's all absolutely wonderful. But be sure you understand what you're taking on in the way of maintenance yourself or investing the funds to have other people maintain the extra property that comes along with an acre or more. You know, sometimes the old saying, who you know is better than what you know. And having extensive experience with these type of properties, I can certainly guide you as to what you're getting into, what you're taking on, and whether it's going to be something that you truly want to do. You can reach out or you can actually download our 1 Acre Plus Buyer Guide so that you're familiar with what's going on when you take on a 1 Acre Plus home. So just plan ahead and make sure your dream home doesn't become a burden. Number 6, healthcare access and daily driving can be a bigger issue than you expect. You see, Georgetown does have solid medical options, but retirees are often surprised by how spread out healthcare can be here, especially when there's specialized care that's needed. Routine care, pretty easy, but many specialists, advanced procedures, certain treatments, they require traveling into Round Rock or even into Austin. And that means you might spend far more time driving long distances and navigating traffic than you expected. Aging in place becomes harder if you don't feel comfortable driving longer distances, or if you're used to or prefer walkable or transit-friendly healthcare, or if you have mobility or night driving limitations. For those who eventually need assisted living or long-term care, the costs in Georgetown and Austin in this corridor can be higher than in smaller Texas towns. So here's some solutions. Map out your essential medical needs, your primary care, cardiology, dermatology, orthopedics, etc., and confirm how far your specialist is from the neighborhood you're considering. And choose a home closer to major medical corridors, I-35, University Boulevard. Make sure you're within 10 to 15 minutes of Seton or Baylor Scott and White. If driving is a concern now, or might be one in the future, prioritize areas, neighborhoods with short, simple routes to clinics and hospitals, and not those requiring long rural roads or heavy interstate use. Be sure to tour local assisted and independent living communities ahead of time so you know the real availability and the real cost if your needs change in the next 5 to 15 years. Georgetown does offer excellent healthcare options for its size, but retirees must plan for driving, travel times, access to specialists, and that becomes more important as you age. Understand that the medical landscape ensures your retirement years remain convenient, safe, and low stress. And number 7, Georgetown's lifestyle isn't the right fit for everyone. You see, many retirees actually imagine Georgetown as a quiet, small town, hill country retreat. But here, the day-to-day lifestyle is very specific, and not everyone feels quite at home. Sure, Georgetown's relaxed, traditional, slower paced, and community-oriented, but if you're used to a huge variety of restaurants, and believe me, we have a great variety, but not like Austin. If you're used to nightlife, cultural entertainment, public transit, highly walkable urban areas, for example, diverse, fast-paced environments, you might find Georgetown to be a little quieter, a little more limited than you expected. Some retirees find out the lifestyle here is just a little too suburban, a little too slow for them, but others feel it's isolated because they chose a rural or acreage area. On the other hand, if you pick the wrong community or neighborhood, you might feel kind of out of sync with the local pace. There might be more activity than you want or not enough. So the solutions simply are spend time in multiple parts of Georgetown, the historic area. Sun City, Berry Creek, Cimarron Hills, East Georgetown, rural edges. See which lifestyle really fits you the best. Visit at different times of the day and the week to get a sense of the crowds, the pace, the traffic, and see whether the local rhythm really matches your personality. Be honest about what you need to be fulfilled. Do you want lots of social activity, or do you want peace and privacy? And that determines whether you should choose a 55-plus community, a traditional neighborhood, or even home on a large lot where you have privacy and space. If you're coming from a big city or a highly amenitized suburb, you might consider whether you need to be close and have access to Austin restaurants and entertainment and cultural events. And then choose a location that makes those trips easy. Georgetown offers a wonderful lifestyle and a variety of lifestyles for retirees. But if the slower pace, suburban feel, and local culture line up with the way you actually want to live, it'll work out very well. Taking the time to match your personality to the right pocket of Georgetown ensures that your retirement is going to feel comfortable, connected, and truly enjoyable. Retiring in Georgetown, Texas can be a wonderful decision. It has been for a lot of people, but it's not automatically the right move for everyone. Between the extreme heat, the rapid growth, rising costs, HOA rules, maintaining larger lots, healthcare, and day-to-day lifestyle, there's some very real challenges that can catch retirees off guard if they don't plan ahead. None of these issues make Georgetown a bad place to live. Matter of fact, most of them make it a great place to retire. But it does mean that you need a clear picture of what life here actually looks like before making such an important move. I'm Stuart Sutton, a full-time real estate broker specializing in Georgetown, Texas, and I've been a local here for 38 years. My job isn't to talk you into retiring here, but to help you make the best decision that truly fits your budget, health, lifestyle, and long-term goals. So if you're considering a move to Georgetown, or you want an honest breakdown of the neighborhoods, 55-plus communities, or acreage areas that might match the retirement you're actually trying to create, my contact information is below. Reach out anytime. I'm always happy to help you look at the full picture so that your next move feels confident, well-planned, and right for the life you want to live. Thanks for watching. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.